Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Comic Book Chronicles. I am your host, Roddy Cat, and I am here tonight with the one and only PCN underscore Dirt, who started it early. That's okay.
Yeah, well, I thought you were going to pause for your cheers there, but whatever.
Nah. No cheers for the host this time. But give yourself a cheer, PCN underscore Dirt.
And it's so weird because I cannot hear any of the sound effects in my headset. So I am sitting literally in an empty, quiet, silent room. I don't hear it. I'll pretend like I hear it.
Meanwhile, the rest of us can hear it, hopefully, I think. Or I could do this for you. And... There you go. Hey. We got our bases covered here on this here podcast, y'all. Like I said, this is the Comic Book Chronicles. This is episode 170, which we never ever actually say the numbering of this thing. So I don't know why I just did that this time. But nevertheless, Jesus. Not with us tonight, or at least not right now. He may or may not show up. We don't know. Is Agent underscore 70 on Twitter, who is possibly bawling his eyes out at the Mr. Rogers documentary. You know, if you've seen it already, then, you know, don't let me know what it is, because I'll see it eventually. Also not with us, who is still on this Timbatical, is one Tim GOGG98 on Twitter. That's Tim Dog for all of you not in the know. He did pass along his quick click of the week, so we got that, and everything is all right in the world. But as that, you can also find us at all those places on Twitter. You can find, I should have did this in the first place. I don't know why. I'm slipping. PopCultureNetwork.com, INeedComics.com for PCN underscore Dope. PopCultureNet also on Twitter for PCN underscore Dope. PCN underscore, and that's what I just said. Lord, what is going on tonight? All right. Instagram and Twitter for Agent underscore 70 at that address. CB Cron, The Click Nation, that's all one word, KLIQ NATIN on Twitter, and of course, like I said, the Tim DOGG98 on Twitter. Also, theclicknation.com for that. You can also check him out on CBR, he's doing his business over there, his dark business. And you can also find me on Twitter at RoddyCat. You can also find me on Twitter at News Nerds Need, and Instagram at CBCaps, and you can also go check out the News Nerds Need Reddit if you so desire.
Oh,
what's that?
Started a Reddit.
Oh yeah, I've had it going for years, or a couple of years now.
Okay, well,
yeah, it's basically like, you know, anything I find on Twitter that I post on there, I put a lot of it on that Reddit. So, you know, some of the stuff you'll see on Twitter, you'll see on the Reddit also.
All right then, fair enough.
Yeah. So go check it out if you feel like it. But what else you want to go and check out is the CSPN, which hosts this here fine podcast and other podcasts on CSPN.us. You can also subscribe to this podcast at your podcast place of choice. I know that's kind of weird not being able to hear the sound effects from you playing them.
I don't know, but and there's a delay. There's also like a half second or 2 second delay sometimes between
that
us. So I'm never actually 100% sure if I'm hitting those in the right spot.
Sure. But that's okay, because we're going to keep the truck rolling and say that you can subscribe to this podcast on Google Play and Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts, whatever, iTunes for you folks of a certain vintage like me. We're on SoundCloud.
We do like 5-star reviews on iTunes. It's great when we get good reviews. In fact, we got a great review just like this.
That was wonderful. Bravo. I loved that. Oh, it was great.
Nice. That was it in the podcast. I love it. And you could also go to shop.cspn.us, where you can, go get some Comic Book Chronicles merch. I wish I had some with me right now, but I do not. But that's okay, because you can go over there and find all of it, as well as podcast merch from other CSPN shows. And with that, we are going to start off with, as we do every week, with the comic book reviews of the week. And we're going to start off with Marvel 2-in-1 number 7.
Okay, so
Okay.
I think the one good thing, I think probably one of the best things story-wise that came out of this was we finally have the answers to why they're being helped out by the scientist lady whose name I can't remember.
Rachna.
Sure.
Yeah.
We finally know her.
Well, yeah, you're right. At least they know, because we knew from the, I think, first and second issue.
Well, yeah, but it's like all out in the open now.
Right. So yeah, that is the basically the big thing that came out of this issue. Which, you know, whatever's going to happen because of that with them and team, because apparently the you know, after that came out, things started happening, and there's some displacement going on at the end of the issue. But before that, that seemed to be the whole draw of this book, to be like, okay, because like Doom already knew, like Johnny doesn't know anything. Ben kind of knows pretty much, well, now knows half of it, because, well, he pretty much knows it all now, because, you know, he was holding his secret. Doom wasn't kind of really didn't have much holding back, because he knew it all, and he wasn't even there at the beginning, as far as we know. So Johnny's pretty much the only one that's still kind of, you know, halfway out of the loop.
So, okay, so then let me ask you this. We find out in this issue that they are, actually, it was probably, I think, the end of the last issue. But anyway, they're in Battle World.
Right.
Has returned from Secret Wars.
They were in a different place last issue, so that was this issue.
Yeah, so how do you feel about Battle World making its return?
I mean, has it really actually even gone anywhere since Secret Wars? Because like every now and then it has popped up in different, you know, even if not in reference, then in some other fashion. So I'm fine with it, but it's like the little pockets that they end up showing are just the weird pockets that we probably didn't even see, or at least didn't see a whole lot of when it was going on. So it's just a license for them to be like, oh yeah, by the way, this is, you know, we mentioned Battle World and we socked this in here, and you know.
I mean, for me, like they're taking a trip through the multiverse, and we know that Reed and Sue are out there and they're repopulating the multiverse, and of all the universes they could show to go back to. And we've seen a lot of new original ones. We've seen a lot of like what if, you know, tech worlds, you know, Secret Invasion had gone a different way, whatever. But for them to actually go back and revisit a multiverse world, and this is the one they choose out of all of, like, we don't get Spider-Ham's world or anything like that. This is the one that we get.
Like, so you're saying it's like a little lazy?
Oh, here, this is what I think about revisiting Battle World.
Hey, boo!
I mean, like, when Secret Wars came out and, you know, Battle World was a thing, and you know, we got a lot of great stuff out of it. Yeah, that was cool. But yeah, like I said, having to come back from it, especially when either the multiverse is gone and come back and whatever else. And actually, I'll even go you one further. We also have the Exiles out there in the multiverse. So I'm thinking, as a matter of fact, I said it in my notes here. I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point those two teams didn't meet each other. I would be shocked if it didn't. Like, because I mean, granted, they don't necessarily have to do that, but I'm like, okay, if the Exiles are out there, they'll probably end up on Battle World at some point.
You know. Okay. So you think Exiles will end up on Battle World, not that Thing and Johnny Storm and Doom are going to meet the Exiles on a world?
I feel like it would make sense. Like, well, let's put it this way. If I was writing something, and this is not necessarily that just has to happen, but it just would be really strange. Like, yes, there's multiverses, like, you know, so the fact that they would even meet each other would be astronomically, you know, odd. But this is also Marvel, so things like that doesn't just, you know, not happen. So I can't imagine why they couldn't just do like, oh, by the way, we're here, you're here too. Like, even if it's in Exiles or in this book, which would probably be more reasonable.
Right. Well, and see, that's the thing is I agree it would make sense to have them do some sort of crossover, but I think you're giving Marvel too much credit at this point.
Probably.
I think it's one of those things that you could probably go up to the editor-in-chief and be like, hey, what about doing this? And he would go, oh, wow, we never thought about that. Well, too late. We've already planned Fantastic Four #1, so Marvel 2-in-1's going away, so never mind.
True, and they probably wouldn't, and because it came from some random dude off the street, they wouldn't do it anyway because of lawsuits. So, but just so you guys know, it is right here on the Comic Book Chronicles as an idea. So if you hear about that coming out somewhere else, TM'd. We're suing. I'm just kidding. I don't know, but I don't know. It is strange to come back to Battle World after all of this, but at the same time, I don't know. I just don't know. Like,
Hey, boo!
actually, here you go. I do know. That's it right there.
Fair enough.
Because if you think about it, like, there's been a number, or it's not been, but been a couple of times where they have referenced recent events that have long gone. Like, they've referenced, granted, this is not too far gone because it was last year, but they just referenced last week in Avengers Civil War 2.
Yeah,
and a couple of different times.
Yeah, but I mean, that was like a breaking the fourth wall reference, not like a reference to the world of Civil War or anything like that.
But nevertheless, we have still, even after the multiversal changes we've had, there's been still Secret Wars.
I mean, you know, it was just like a thrown out line of like, these two were fighting, so we might as well call it Civil War or make a reference to it, but not necessarily. I don't think like you're supposed to understand that they recognize that as a reference to that.
Oh, I mean, I agree, but that was a little too on the low, especially on the nose, especially when Thor pretty much basically said, "Stop your silver warring."
Yeah, I know.
Said that, like, okay, really?
It's more a bad joke than, you know, actually referencing that anybody, you know, is actually talking about that. But anyway.
But nevertheless, let's leave that for last week and back to Marvel 2-1. And I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you that anywhere they could have gone and made up. And the matter of fact, they didn't even necessarily have to reference Battle World, to just kind of just let that go and just have it be what it is. Although some people probably would have made that assertion anyway. I was like, oh, they're on Battle World. I don't know if I would have, but it could have gone any way with that one, you know.
Have they announced that Marvel 2-in-1 is ending when Fantastic Four comes out?
I don't remember them saying that. I would not be surprised if that was the case, though. Although, I mean, there's still, like, come on, the book is a classic. I'm actually surprised they didn't do any legacy number run for these, or did they?
Oh yeah, Marvel 2-in-1 is legacy number 107.
Okay, that was okay.
But I'm just trying to think whether or not they've announced, because I'm not seeing anything about it right now, actually, that it's ending.
Right, and we already got September solicited, so if it's still there, then at the very least they're going to keep going for a little while. I mean, there's no reason why the book couldn't stick around, though. They just changed the focus of the book to go back to the classic one, you know, or keep it as Ben and Johnny afterwards. We don't know, but I mean, if you see what they're doing with X-Men, well, actually, that's probably not a good case. So let me shut up on that one, because they are getting rid of 2 books.
Because if Fantastic Four may focus more on Reed and Sue, and they might leave Marvel 2-in-1 to focus more on Ben and Johnny, just have it be the book to Fantastic Four. Just have a joke that they're number books, Fantastic Four and Marvel 2-in-1, both of those being, you know, number, make some sort of math joke or something, and have them, you know, that they're connected that way. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Right, or like they may just keep 2-in-1 classic and it was like, all right, we'll just make a team up book and see how long that floats. Because they kind of started heading that way with the annual, even though technically Doom's with them in this book.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, yeah. So it's I guess it's worth noting that at least they made the note to say that this takes place before Iron Man 600, which I still have yet to read.
Oh.
We can assume that there's some things afoot.
Yeah, I haven't read Iron Man. Like, I gave up on Iron Man, so I don't.
Right. Well, I wanted to read 600 just to see, how they ended out. But I still haven't caught up on that book, and I do have a few issues to do on that one. So I don't know. So, but if you read this and say, hey, that's not what's going on, then you know why, because it's before.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you're watching this show right now and you know what's going on, send out a tweet at CBCron or at Comic Book Chronicles. Let us know what the connection is between Marvel 2117 and Iron Man 600.
Or maybe not, because I don't think I care. Oh, well, I think I kind of already know, because there's some. I know there's been articles floating around there. Apparently, it may or may not have something to do with Doom's status.
Look, I'm just trying to get people like connected to the show, man. That's what I'm doing.
Fair enough. You keep it rolling, sir. Keep it rolling. Speaking of keeping it rolling, what book do you want to hit next? You got something in the DC corner you want to throw out, or you want to keep it on the Marvel train for a sec?
I'm going to do a Marvel book, and I'm going to do it just to anger Agent 70 since he's not here.
Okay.
That is Sentry #1.
I am okay with that, so thank you.
I actually bought it. Believe it or not, it's actually okay. Here's the whole reason why I gave it a chance is that Jeff Lemire is writing it, and so I figured if Jeff Lemire is writing it, I'll give it a shot. You know what I mean?
Fair.
He polished a fair amount of turds in the comic book universe, so I figured let it go. And so here's the basic idea: is that he has this pocket dimension, and every 24 hours he goes into this pocket dimension and he becomes the Sentry. And he's got a sidekick, and he's got a girl sidekick and a dog sidekick, and the Void appears, and they battle the Void, and they defeat the Void, and then he pops out of the Pocket universe back into the regular Marvel universe, and he's back to being just a lonely old man who works part-time at a fast food restaurant. And the whole thing is that the Void is inside of him. So he goes into the Pocket universe, becomes the Sentry. The Void comes out, he fights it, defeats it, puts it away, and then he can go back in the real world, and he doesn't have to worry about the Void trying to break out for another 24 hours.
So he's basically a mental health day each time the Void. Each time he goes in the pocket, which I think they didn't necessarily address this in Doctor Strange when they brought him back out, but I think they showed as much.
Yeah, because he basically mentions that Doctor Strange helped set this whole thing up. So it just kind of shows how mundane his life has gotten, how he's just really living this terrible life here, but it makes you kind of feel bad for him in a way, because that whole superhero life that he wants, that he likes, that everybody who's got superpowers, wants to use them and live that kind of life. And he,
when Avengers, he kind of had issues with it, but that mainly was because of the Void.
Right. So he just has to live like this terrible, normal, mundane existence. And he gets this moment where he can go in the other universe, but it's kind of like a dream, and he knows it doesn't really matter. And, so it makes him a much more sympathetic character, especially in terms of wanting to be the hero and not being able to, he knows that if he uses his powers, it's going to create a problem in the real world. So he's sacrificing that heroic ability in this pocket dimension to keep the rest of the world safe. So you do kind of feel bad for him in that sense. And
you also know stay long. They can't possibly stay like that for long.
Right. Well, because that is the status quo of his mundane life. So of course, what's the first thing Lemire does is he interrupts this, and he breaks, he ruins everything. And so now they're going to have to fix it. So I don't want to exactly say, why or how, but a mysterious character shows up that we don't know who it is and causes a disruption to this pattern. So we know that a bad thing is going to come out of it. We don't know exactly what, or we don't know exactly how. We don't know why. We don't know who this person is, but somehow this person figured it out, and they've interrupted the flow for whatever reason. And so it is one of those where you get to the last page, and you're like, okay, this just took a turn that I wasn't expecting. And when they're able to throw in a curveball like that, I enjoy it. So enjoyed this first issue a lot, and on the strength of this first issue, I'm like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and put down for the series. I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot because I do like Lemire, and I think he has pulled off something interesting here with the character.
I mean, yeah, he did something pretty decent with Moon Knight. So, and a couple of things I'm probably forgetting about that he's done. So, I don't know. I said I was going to at the very least read this one just to kind of give it a shot. But Sentry is not a character that I've never cared for. Thanks, Bendis. Speaking of actually Bendis, and because I know you weren't around when we talked about this last week, did you see the news about what he's doing over in Man of Steel?
About it, but I hadn't.
Oh, okay.
I don't. The only stuff that I see is like Marvel sends out press reports, so I get the PR in my mailbox, and that's about the only thing I really do to look ahead at stuff. Gotcha. But otherwise, I don't go to news sites. I don't even like the previews catalogs and stuff. I just kind of quickly flip through them just to kind of basically like, okay, I want this, I don't want that, but I try not to get too in depth and read everything, and I try to let it flow.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I wish I had that because unfortunately, getting the news for the show, like some of this kind of comes up. So, but yeah. So yeah, Nuclear Man coming back. Thanks, Bendis. That's...
Oh, I did hear about that. Okay, well, all right. To be fair, Nuclear Man was the character created by Christopher Reeve. I mean, Christopher Reeve created that character for Superman 4. And
sure,
as bad as Superman 4 was, that was the movie that Christopher Reeve wanted to make. Now, granted, he had the budget he wanted to make it with, but the whole nuclear disarmament and turning nuclear energy into like this evil creature that Superman could fight, and that whole kind of like beatnik anti-energy thing, whatever was his whole little whatever. So as much as I don't like the character because of the movie and everything related to it, you at least have to identify the fact that for him to bring the character back is at least a wink and a nod to the memory of Christopher Reeve, and kind of giving him credit for coming up with this character and trying to do something with it.
I agree with you up to the point, except for the fact that, and yes, I agree with you all on all that stuff. The fact that, and I don't know why I just repeated myself but Bendis just likes terrible, superpowered Bond characters. Let's go ahead and say that. Can we agree on that? All I'm gonna say on that. So the Christopher Reeve thing aside, sure, that is what it is. But no one it was a terrible movie.
Lemire can take a bad character like Sentry and turn it into something interesting. So maybe Lemire, or maybe Bendis is thinking, hey, Lemire can do that.
You cut out. I can't hear you. You cut out. I don't know. You just cut out and missed it, and like it went like click. I don't know what just happened. Yeah, I don't know. I can't read. Oh, you muted. Oh. And I can hear that. I heard that sound effect, but I can't hear you. Right. So yeah, we've been having some technical difficulties on sides here. Well, while he's doling, it's Nuclear Man. And I realize somebody's gonna joke. Look, I'm from the South. Nuclear Man. I know how to say it. Either way, he's the one that's. Oh wait, I just heard you. Or I just heard something. Oh, okay, that was sound effect. Okay, so anyway, while he's doing that, let's get to. I'll just throw out another book here really quickly. Multiple Man #1. So. Oh, that was me. I don't know what's going on. So yeah, Multiple Man #1 just happened. Now I've heard about rumors about this book. Well, not rumors, but I heard a little bit about this book, and it's from Matthew Rosenberg, who finished up Secret Warriors not too long ago, and I can't remember what the other book was. So I was prepared to check this out because of that fact, because Rosenberg usually writes some fun stuff. This one is kind of no exception, except for the fact that it's a little weird, and that's even saying that by X-Men standards. So if you don't know, Multiple Man is Jamie Madrox. He died during whatever heck of event that was when he was exposed to the Terrigen Mists. His power was to make multiple copies of himself, which he did, and apparently him and all of it died during that one to get found. But it's so okay. That's weird. It was also having wish issues. Say something. Okay, nope, no good. Nope. I don't know. It was weird. Like I said, you were just talking and then it just like click. So, but anyway, so yeah, Multiple Man died. They found another one of his clones in some kind of bunker, who's also slowly dying, but then he ends up doing some shenanigans. Oh God. And one Agent 7 just pops in with So while he's getting his mic. Nothing. Nada. Nope. I saw the pinch and I saw the 1 second thing. So okay. we should all learn sign language, folks. But anyway, like I said, during the course of this issue, some weird, strange things. Well, not even some weird, strange things. Like it's the X-Men. It's not like X-Men don't die and come back and all those, right? So, but in this case, there were some things that happened with clone that's kickstart a whole thing that the issue, which apparently he didn't know anything about, but maybe may have something to do with something he did during the course of the issue. We don't know this, but he's not making claims to it. And like I said, this was a pretty fun read. The art was kind of nice. I can't remember who's actually doing the art. I should have looked at that. But it was definitely a pretty fun and strange read. Oh wait, guys. I'm looking that up. This is a great podcast. Agent 7. I don't think you can hear. Oh, you can hear it. I can say anything.
Testing sound. Oh,
there you go.
There's an echo that I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Has it been going on all night?
No. Dirt's been having some issues.
Oh man.
Because he was sounding fine a little while ago before, like a little while before you came in, and then it just cut off. His mic just cut. Like while he was saying something. Probably didn't want to talk about Sentry anymore. Did you hear? Because I don't know if you've read Sentry, but
no, I haven't read a damn thing this week. I'm trying to get my sound effects to work, and things are just not working right now. What's going on with the Gremlins this week?
Okay, I did hear that. Wait, was that you or was that from?
That was not me.
That's Dirt.
Dirt.
I gotcha. Yeah, so fun times in the CBC corral here. Here we go. Oh shit.
Although I do have good news, just as an aside, the Won't You Be My documentary will definitely allergies.
Okay. I heard that doubles.
Oh man.
Yeah. This is gonna be a great episode. I could try to.
That's a good cut.
Love that one. So moving right along. So Andy McDonald, excuse me, not McDowell. That's from another movie. Is the artist on that? Slightly kind of reminiscent of Takeshi Miyazawa, just a little bit. Okay, there you go. That just so yeah, Multiple Man #1. Go check it out. Like I said, if you're a fan of Matthew Rosenberg, it seems like it's gonna go somewhere. Nope.
Poor
I
Dirk.
saw it. Okay. Yeah. No.
Can you hear me at least?
Yeah. Can hear you.
Kind of echoing.
He can hear both of us. We just can't hear him.
Oh, goodness gracious, Dirk. It's like, what if I walked into tonight, right? I leave you guys alone for one night.
It's not like we have not had these
gremlins, especially the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, totally. So this is once or twice a year it happens to us. It's like it's trying to keep us humble.
Yeah, definitely. Think that Google Hangouts thinks that we shouldn't.
I don't think it's in this case. No, we definitely had our problems with Hangouts. This might be Vac's problem. Shout out to Vax, VAX. You know what Vax is? I don't know.
I thought you were talking about VAX. Remember that Vax and Unix?
Man, that's what I'm talking about just now. But no, I'm talking about VAC for his problems. Wait, man? Oh God, Vax, Vax Assembly. Shout out to all my computer programmers out there. And
there you go.
Know that life.
That was my first email.
Really?
Vax.
Oh shit. Actually, you know what? I think it was mine too. Now that being on college, yeah, VI and all that kind of good mess. Oh, geez. Shout out to VI and Palm and all that kind of whatever.
You hear that? We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
We're not fully back.
I know.
So let's get back
to that up and running. Come on, let's roll.
Yeah, so let's get back to some comics here while Dirk's trying to sort his mess out. And I guess I'll do another one while we're at it. So you haven't read like one blessed thing.
Not a bloody thing. I could not finish a single book this week because it's just too busy.
And you gotta hate that. So I will say that we really hadn't gotten that far. We talked about Marvel 201 #7 and Century.
Okay.
And I was just talking about
actually reviewed Century.
Dirt read it. I didn't.
Did Dirt like it? I'm gonna go with the thumbs up from PCN_Dirt for Century #1.
He actually sold me on because like I said to him, I was going to read it, begrudgingly read it, but not sound like this. Oh. That sounds like the Space Muppets.
Yeah, we are totally taking off into the Wild Blue Yawn, into space right there.
Yeah, or that one Radio Shack RF modulator thing that they used to sell when we were kids. But anyway, I wish I still had that. I think it was, you know what? Oh Lord.
What's next?
Is that Dirt playing?
No, the President Bartlett was me.
Oh, okay.
So let's keep this train wreck of a train. And let's go with Black Panther #2. And I, without spoiling, because I think you were actually reading this.
Yes, I am reading this.
So I won't spoil too much. So, except for the fact that I can't help but say the fact that there seems to be allusions to a trench run, a certain famous trench run that seems to play out similarly in this book. And also, we meet, we not necessarily meet, but we see a little bit more of the Empire, the Emperor of the said Galactic Empire of Wakanda, and it sounds, if you check them out a little bit, sounds Vaderish.
Okay.
So the crux of the book is they're doing this run that they thought they were going to have to abort, but T'Challa's, T'Challa being T'Challa, just kind of barrels through and, in quite video game type fashions, just wreck shop, which draws the attention of the Emperor, who decides to get a little Vaderish with his own crew, let's just say. And yeah, that's pretty much the crux of the book. Like, there's a lot more action in it. Daniel Kuno's art is still, I don't want to say jarring, because it's good art, but it seems weird in this. Actually, it kind of works in this capacity. But if you're not used to his art and something like this, you might get a little put off with it.
Got it.
I
definitely understand. It's not as tightly penciled as we're used to seeing.
Mm-hmm. Like, if this was a book like, say, Black Science, which I don't know if you've ever read.
I'm familiar.
Yeah, the art kind of favors that just slightly, and it works in that book.
Sure.
And not saying that it doesn't work here, but it's like I said, the art from the last volume of Black Panther to this is just a little different. But then again, like I said, the setting is different, and they're going a totally different route with this, with the exception of the Star Wars like shadings that in this book, in this issue. So that is Black Panther #2. It was a pretty decent read, but it is definitely one that that might give you some familiar shades of things going on.
Gotcha.
And actually, let me see, what else do I actually have that is. Oh, actually, you know what? We'll do this one, and then I might do rapid fire, unless Dirt ends up coming back and we can get his takes. Let's see, and that would be Amazing Spider-Man: Wakanda Forever #1. So this is the first part of 3 one-shots that are featuring the Dora Milaje. I don't know why they couldn't just give them their own book, but I understand it because, of course, you feature them in other people's books to kind of get them. It's basically ends up being like a Marvel team up. But
right, this is the first of a couple, I think.
This is the first of 3, yes. This one was being written by Nnedi Okorafor, who wrote Black Panther: Long Live the King, I believe, or wrote a couple of issues of those. And she's also a novelist outside of that. So I believe this is actually, she has another book out for another company that escapes me at the moment. But regardless, so this is her writing the Dora Milaje again. It's actually a pretty fun read in itself, because if you think about Spider-Man meeting the Dora Milaje, or at least at the very least of it, a few that we know of from the movie, let's say, it turns out to be a meeting that goes slightly different than you think it would, because Spider-Man is one way, and the Dora a little more serious. Ah, okay.
I heard our internal messaging go off. What I miss?
Nah, I was just Doug saying what happened.
Whoa.
But so this is a lighter meeting between, which I thought I could have sworn Spidey has met the Dora before, and apparently not, because he even mentioned in the book, like, yeah, I've been wanting to meet you guys for a long time, and one of them gets kind of up in arms about it. But outside of that, like I said, this begins. So this is their meeting, which, like I said, I thought this happened before. But the crux of the story is Nakia, who you may or may not, if you've been in the comics for a while, you know that Nakia was a Dora Milaje who came infatuated with T'Challa to a great extent, and went and left Dora and started being a stalker kind of ish, and took some tech with her, so she knows some things about the secrets of the Dora Milaje. And this story basically has the Dora chasing after her because she took this one thing with her, but they couldn't really it's basically a nimbus cloud that was kind of poisonous that has a whole bunch of other powers that she's just now unlocking apparently, and the door can only track her when she uses that. So she goes to Bed-Stuy, shout out to Bed-Stuy, and starts to get oh, she's also going. I should have mentioned this also. So Nakia also changed her name to Malice, which in this story she's using. So this is not, I should point out, the Lupita Nyong'o version from the movie, unless they decide to go that route with in another Black Panther movie. However, like Ayo, Koyo, and those folk do show up. So the ones you've seen from the movies do show up as Dora, but Nakia is the bad guy here, and she's in Bed-Stuy causing some havoc, which draws the attention of Spider-Man and not T'Challa, and also the Dora Milaje, like I said. And then they team up, but which goes great at first until she gets away, and then they're on the hunt for her. And end up going, this is the weird part about it, and maybe this is just me not knowing the history, but they end up on the Titanic, to where AIM has a secret base, because apparently AIM's been working with Nakia to try to figure out this cloud's, business so they could replicate it. So because they find the Titanic, which means they run into another, which is also funny, another villain who doesn't believe they're under the control of Nakia and the cloud, because one of Nakia's other powers is she had this dust or something that could control men, famously. But apparently Hydra Man shows up and he's like, yeah, I'm helping her out, but I'm not under control. She thought her stuff could control me, and like I was supposed to come here, but I don't know why, which means that he actually was controlled. So he gets into a fight with Spidey and the Dora underneath New York Harbor or wherever the Titanic is, because they said it's not too far from New York shores. And like I said, even the whole read is it's a pretty quick, relatively quick read, and it's a pretty fun one. The only thing that kind of got me is that there was some, like specifically with a couple of times that one of the Dora would speak, there would be some language that didn't seem to fit them. And then there was
like the voice that the writer gave him,
or at the very least a line or two that seemed like something he wouldn't say. But at the same time, now that I think about it, Ta-Nehisi Coates kind of threw in some slang that would probably suggest that also, but that's why I kind of let it go, because it was like, you know what, sure, like it's not like they don't know of the outside world and haven't heard of.
They want a Starbucks in Wakanda,
Actually, you know what? I think there might have been a mention there. There might have been a mention to that in here. I can't remember. So, but yeah, like I said, this was a fairly fun read. I want to spoil a little bit of the end, just a little bit though. But you should still
ring the bell.
Sure.
Here it goes.
So, in setting up for the next part of because after their battle with Hydra Man, they're like, well, we got to go and find Nakia and this other thing, which sets up them going to the next book, which is going to be Storm and the X-Men and with the Dora. So Spidey gets this idea of saying, it's like, well, while you're waiting, go do some touristy stuff. So you see like the Dora out in front of the Statue of Liberty while other people are taking pictures of them in the statue, and one of them with a map. It's too cute. And then they go to this restaurant, and I don't know if it's in Harlem or somewhere. I'm not sure where it is. And they were talking, and then that's when they set up, they get a ping that sets up the next going into the next one shot.
Okay.
So, and I'm not sure if Nadia Okorafor is writing all three of them, or she just wrote this one. I'm assuming she just wrote this one, but I don't know that for certain. And I don't think the back page shows who's going to be the next artist or not, or artist the creative team. And I never did, because I remember reading about that this was going to be a thing a few months ago, but don't remember the creative teams for all of them. Either way, you should go check it out, because it is a cool read. What it does, like I said, it went surprisingly better than I thought a meeting like that would have gone. especially where Spider-Man's involved with this group. Let's see. I think I may just go ahead and do rapid fire here because there's really not much else to say about the rest of the stuff that I have. So therefore, you want to spin up the Vulcan?
Spin it up. Here it comes. There it is.
Had to add that one because I actually had that one in there. But anyway, Teen Titans Special number 1. So we had a couple of weeks ago, I believe it was, Titans Special number 1, and this basically set up Nightwing's new group of Titans, some of which were old Teen Titans, and they alluded to the fact that, well, the other Teen Titans with Damian went rogue, which I don't remember them actually going into. It could have been something coming out of No Justice, just like this special was. So both of these specials come out of the No Justice series, which I don't think I've ever read. Fairly certain I haven't. Have you?
What's that?
No Justice.
No.
Yeah. So, but basically, so this special and the Titan special came out of that. So this is basically now saying that, okay, Nightwing's got a group of Titans that's just working with the Justice League. And now we see the other Titans, which was basically Damian, the Amico Queen, Red Arrow, and Kid Flash, Wally West. We see basically 3 short stories with what they get into. And then at the end, there's an epilogue where Damian's like, hey, I need to get a group together because, like I said, it's actually a pretty decent read, especially Damian's was kind of interesting because of the fact that, like, okay, this seems to be the Damian that he's been wanting to be for a little bit, because basically all of them are kind of like just disenfranchised at this point, and so they're dealing with different things that makes them even more, disappointed and disenfranchised with the people that they've dealt with. So especially like Kid Flash, who's the OG Wally West, makes an appearance in this, and they have beef with all them people. And then, like I said, at the end of it, you see an epilogue with Damian basically setting up, trying to get the group together, which I think is going to play out in Teen Titans 20, whenever that comes out next. But at least we get to see, what happened with this group of Teen Titans. And these are the only ones that I think they talk about, because like Aqualad and Ravens with Nightwing, but can't remember who else was on the team. Oh yeah, Beast Boy. Beast Boy's with the other Titans team. So that's that. So you can check that out if you're curious about it. Like I said, supposedly this stuff came out of No Justice, and if you hadn't read it, that might kind of throw you a second, but they don't necessarily allude to it too much. You just know that at a certain point in the comics, something happened.
Gotcha.
Let's see what else I got next. Oh, Star Wars Lando Double or Nothing number 2. So after the events of last issue, where Lando gets this job for some credits to reluctantly take some weapons to this one planet so that this lady can free her father and her people. And Lando's being Lando about it, of course, which I guess my one gripe about this book, I need to actually see who wrote this, because that was the one thing I meant to check out. But my one gripe about this book was, like, it feels like they're writing Lando kind of one note. Like, he's basically the kind of the egotistical, pompous, well, not so pompous, but the delusions of grandeur,
Okay.
Lando that we know is a part of him. But I was like, come on, there's got to be more to him than just that.
But isn't this like a prequel type story?
Yes, this is basically during the time. It might be before Solo.
Okay.
But this is definitely around that time, because it's him, L3. And I think it's before Solo, actually. Excuse me. So this is him, L3, and this other lady who was not associated with Solo or anybody that he's this is doing. Personally, if you want, I'm going to say this now. I'm going to finish reading. I'm going to get the rest of this so I can finish reading because maybe it'll turn around at some point. Because it looks like there'll be some shades of turn around in his character, maybe something leading up to Solo. But if you really want a good Lando miniseries, go check out the one from like 2 or 3 years ago, and it's just called Lando.
Mm-hmm.
That one was good. And was that Charles Soule? I can't remember who wrote that one.
I think Soule, was that during the time when Soule was writing like all the Star Wars stuff?
I mean, he's kind of doing I think he had just started. I think that might have been his first
miniseries. Right, well, Aaron was writing the main Star Wars.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right. And then I can't remember who's writing Vader, but it wasn't Soule. Because Soule's writing this Darth Vader, not the last one. I think it was Keith Gillen was writing Vader, and Soule took over when they changed the time frame, and they restarted Darth Vader. So regardless, that was that. It's amusing because it's like, you know, if you've watched Solo, you can see the shades of the Lando that was in there. But even then, that was like, okay, like you're kind of rating them a little one note to a point in that, which they seem to take that and just kind of pile it on. But like I said, there may be something in here that's going to redeem him or whatever the case may be. But he basically gets his plan and gets in some trouble, as Lando is wont to do.
Testing.
And, there.
Hey! You can hear me.
Yes.
Can you hear that?
Yes.
You can totally hear trombone. You got your overlay and all that good stuff.
Oh my goodness.
So before anything else happens, I'm going to do my one last book, and Doug, you can go ahead and rattle off all of yours.
Okay.
Whatever left of yours. So my last book is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Anniversary Special #1. And the only thing I really have to say about this is if the name doesn't say anything for you, it's basically a bunch of short stories set in various histories during various iterations of the Power Rangers. And it's like 4 or 5 short stories that just, you know, from there. I just skimmed through it because I kind of figured that's what it was. But the first story I did actually kind of read, and it was neat. It had something to do with Rita's trying to get control of Tommy the Reed puppy, because who doesn't like puppies? And
aren't they reprints?
I don't think so. There is the Power Rangers Volume 1 reprints that are also out this week.
Oh, this is something different than that.
Something different, yes. They're all new stories by different creators. But I know what you're talking about, and that is also out this week.
Okay.
Yeah. Which I wanted to check that out, but I don't think we got any copies of it. So but that being said, like I said, that's that if you're a Power Rangers fan, and that has nothing to do with the current storyline with the Shattered Grid, and at least nothing that I've seen. It's just like I said, different stories from different parts of the Power Rangers universe. So it's kind of fun. And that is that for me. So what do you have, Doug?
Okay. All right. Assuming my sound doesn't go out, let's try to get through some of these. All right. First of all, to go back real quick to Sentry, Agent 70. I know you're going to disbelieve me on this, but this is Jeff Lemire. Jeff Lemire has been known in the comic book universe to take some turds and polish them into diamonds, and he's turned Sentry into a sympathetic character.
Wow!
That you can actually get behind. So it was a lot of fun. I may have oversold it by playing this sound clip.
That was wonderful. Bravo! I loved that. Oh, it was great.
Maybe not quite that much, but it was still really good. It was still good enough that I plan on reading the whole. It's only a mini series. It's only 5 or 6 issues, so I'll give it a shot with that. We did have Flash. Excuse you. We did have Flash 49, which is part of the Flash War going on. So basically, Wally West, the Kid Flash that had been forgotten about in the old universe when the New 52 was made, he came back a little while later, and now he's trying to find his family, his kids, and his old life from the old universe, and Zoom has convinced him that he can break the Speed Force in order to snap him out of it. Of course, Barry thinks that, it's all set up and he's lying. And so the two of them are at odds. And this issue, basically, you have two Flashes speeding almost as fast as they can going around the Earth. So it's causing some havoc. So this is basically more told from the point of view of like Superman and the Justice League and Amanda Waller and everybody else going, we've got to stop them. This is crazy. This is going to destroy everything. And there are times when like Superman's trying to catch up to him and he's going as fast as he can. And you see the word balloons of the two of them talking, and it's just this string of letters, this nonstop broken string of letters. But then when it cuts to their point of view and you see Flash and Kid Flash, they're talking, having a regular conversation. So it's that whole idea that they're speeding along so fast, not even Superman can catch up to them because Kid Flash is trying to break the Speed Force to try to get the rest of his family out of there. So it is really good. And it's one of those where at first when I was reading it, it felt like at first I kind of thought maybe this is just filler, because it's showing everybody else reacting to it, but it actually plays pretty well as it goes along, and they do some neat things with it. And then when it gets to the end, when they stop and everything breaks, things happen a little differently than what they're expecting. So it was actually pretty good.
That Flash Forward thing seemed kind of compelling, but I haven't really had a chance to. Do you need to actually know about what's going on surrounding it to into it, or?
It wouldn't hurt to have Wikipedia right next to you as you're going through it, because there are a lot of references to stuff from the old universe before Flashpoint and everything. Even like stuff from the 90s gets referenced, so you might, like I said, have to search through Wikipedia a little bit. Man of Steel 5, I mean, really, its biggest fault is that there's not really much to it in this issue. There's no massive change. There's no great, we don't get any new insights. We don't really it's just kind of like the battle is still unfolding. The stuff with Jor-El is still kind of happening in the background that we're seeing in flashbacks. It's just kind of more the same as it's building up. Now, it's a 6-issue series, so this is issue 5. So the next issue is the end. So, maybe this is just kind of a chance to catch our breath and get everybody in position for the final showdown.
Gotcha.
But I mean, like the biggest problem with this book is that it's kind of skippable overall.
Thanks.
Batman Prelude to the Wedding, Harley Quinn and Joker. So if you've ever thought that maybe Harley Quinn and Joker were on some sort of equal footing, that maybe she was like the yin to his yang, and they balanced each other out, or they complemented each other well. This issue really goes out of its way to remind you that she is like a 4.5 out of 10, and he's a 9.
Yeah.
She is just nowhere near him in intellect, in planning. She's tried to plan out this whole thing to stop Joker from getting involved. And the biggest problem with this issue, and I don't have a problem with knocking Harley Quinn down a peg or two because I'm not really a fan of the character, but the biggest problem is this ends as a lead up to Batman 48, which is from 2 issues ago.
Right?
Yeah. 49 just came out last week.
Yeah.
50 comes out next week. So this has all been building up to the story that you've already read.
Wow.
So that was a little disappointing.
That kind of stinks.
Maybe behind, or
oh no!
no.
Oh no!
Yeah, we can't hear you again.
Oh, PCN_Dirt's audio has dropped out. Oh.
Hey, boo! Hey, boo! Hey!
Yeah, be quiet. I sympathize because PCN_Dirt is trying his hand at a brand new setup, and we got to work out the kinks. And just so that everyone's on notice, I'll be trying a new setup with new audio, new sound cart program probably within the next month, and I'm trying to set that up now. So let's hope that I don't run into too many hiccups with the sound either. Myself, actually.
Okay, wait. Terrifics number 5, I believe, right?
Okay.
Yeah. 5. Okay.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up from
_dirt.
I actually want to because I'm hearing decent things about Terrific, so I kind of want to check that out a little more. I did read the first episode, the first issue, and it seemed kind of interesting.
All right, so he's pointing at the credits.
It is.
And Lemire is there. He's co-writing. Ah, that's right. That's a good reason to read it. Okay, so Jeff Lemire is co-writing the Terrifics, and that is.
I think that was the other reason I wanted to check it out. Yeah. Okay. Got another one. Exo Man.
Which was like charades on Comic Book Chronicles. Issue 16.
Move it over a little bit more.
Ah, so-so. PCN_dirt. Give us it a so-so.
Wait. Was that 15 or 16? I'm sorry. What was that?
16. Exo Man of War number 16. Issue 16. Your auto zoom is taking a while to kick in.
That's okay. We got it. This is riveting for the people who are not
which is why I'm trying to give the audio play-by-play.
Yeah.
Oh, this is hysterical.
Rifling through, because he did say he had a few things he
one more thing.
Yeah.
Oh. Back up.
Okay.
Okay.
Century.
Century is your click of the week?
Oh, that's your click of the week. Ah, okay. Cool.
You know what? We've been doing this so long, we could actually do that. Okay.
Who's playing that in the background?
I think that may be him.
Oh, okay. That's funny.
I should have gave his thing the priority because we could have gotten a GIF off of that.
There you go.
In the book, and I think he's basically saying he's
signing off. Century's his click of the week.
There we go.
Out with it right now, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, something you never thought you'd see or hear on the Comic Book Chronicles. Oh no! Ladies and gentlemen, please tune into theclicknation.com/live or tune into our YouTube channel to take a look at what PCN_dirt was doing to this port copy of Century number 1.
Good thing it was by the plastic.
There you go.
Okay, well, so Dirt's gonna bow out for the night, folks. So we will see you next week, and hopefully the sound issues will be taken care of.
Yes, let's pray.
Yeah, really. So we'll check it out later, Dirt.
Take it easy. Have a good night.
All right. Well,
I picked a great show to like kind of come in late on.
I'm actually glad you did, but
all right. So let me do an ad, and then we're gonna jump into the news. All right. Oh, we got to do clicks of the week. You guys, you got to give your click of the week because I didn't read anything.
So we already got Dirt's, which was Century number 1. Tim sent his along, which was the Flash 49.
And yours is?
That's a damn good question, actually, because through all the excitement. Actually, I will go for Amazing Spider-Man Wakanda Forever number 1.
Nice.
That was pretty fun. So actually, let me ask you this real quick, and I'm trying to lower my voice because I don't know why I do that. It runs in the family, and I hate it. What are you looking forward to reading when you do get to reading?
Thor.
Did that come out this week?
Yeah, Thor number 2. I'm looking forward to Ms. Marvel number 31 because it's a issue.
Yeah, I was going to read that right before it is, and then things were things. So I really want to read that too.
And I did not get to read Marvel 2-in-1. I want to read that. And those were like at the top of my list. I just did not have the time between yesterday and today to read these books. It was a shame.
Right. Well, good thing you did not. Good thing you were not here from the beginning of the show because we basically gave you the gist of Marvel 2-in-1 number 7. We actually spent a good minute on that one.
Cool.
So, that was that. So that being said, let's get to an ad read.
Nice. So our first ad of the night is for Wink. Wink is a world of wine delivered right to your door. From rosé to Cabernet to Torronté, Wink has over 100 styles of wine to discover. Ever try an orange wine? Wink connects you to a world of exclusive wines tailored to your tastes and delivered directly to your door. Wink delivers 4 bottles of wine to you every month with free shipping. You can pick your own bottles or let Wink choose and match to your taste. It doesn't cost a thing to become a member, and you can skip or cancel anytime. And now, the listeners of the KLIQ Nation's Comic Book Chronicles can enjoy an exclusive discount of $20 off your first order. To place your first order with $20 off and to help keep our show free for you, go to our network website at cspn.us/wink. That's cspn.us/WINC. Wink Wines through cspn.us. Do it today.
Actually, I'm gonna give a shout out to our one of our sister podcasts, Bad and Boozy. And actually, luckily, our podcast is kind of versatile with the sponsorships because we can
we do it all.
Well, most of it. Well, actually, yeah, technically we could with the sponsors that we know we have, but that's a whole other situation that we'll get into. But yeah, go check out Bad and Boozy. They're awesome. That being the case, we are going to get into the cinematic news.
Here come into the news.
I did not have that sound effect on this thing before. Which no one needs to see that. Actually, I'm gonna do this real quick.
Yeah, we're gonna tag team this.
Like we sometimes do about this time because my voice is halfway going. And why are you not going?
Who's not going?
Not you. Okay.
I gotta pull up the sheet.
Well, it's the sheet that's the problem.
Oh, really?
Well, for me.
Yeah, I was on the script, so I have to open up a new tab.
No, it's the screen share is doing a thing, so I'm just gonna do this and start off by saying, like we do all this time. Well, we do have some more solicits that came out for September, but it's nothing real pressing, so I don't think we'll have much news off of that. But regardless, cinematic news: Spider-Man Silk movie spinoff in the works by Sony.
Okay.
Given some news that will come along later, that's way better than the news that I know that is coming up.
Oh yeah, one living vampire.
Yes, but we'll get to that because
yeah, we will get to that. So my sheet just loaded up. Chalk it up to way too many things running on my computer, ladies and gentlemen. My MacBook Pro is 10 years old.
Yes, I will say they don't.
8 years old.
It's I guess it's a rumor at this point, and we don't have anyone attached to it. But I think this article just mentions the stuff that is already out there.
Okay. Scrolling.
That's one I would kind of want to see because a good version of Cindy Moon is cool. There's potential.
I mean, I honestly would hope that it would be more tied into the MU, and they could find a way to use the same actress that was Cindy Moon or supposed to be Cindy Moon that's in Homecoming.
That's what I would hope, but being that a lot of these are kind of offshoots of they're not tied like you said. That's a bummer. That's a real bummer.
All right.
So,
next up, Tom Holland accidentally, quote unquote, confirmed Spider-Man Homecoming 2's title.
Oh, you gotta love this kid. And you gotta kind of wonder. It's like, okay, it seemed like to me because they have actively not giving him stuff for Infinity Wars because they think they know he'd spoil it. So the fact that they actually gave him something kind of makes me wonder that they wanted this to quote unquote.
Yeah, I think they wanted it to drop.
Yes,
I think they wanted to also kind of comfort people who think that there's no other movies coming because everybody went to
No, but this had already been. It had been.
No, I know. I'm talking about the people who don't know that or don't understand that.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, so the Tom Holland took to Instagram and put a video out where he held up his iPad, which quote unquote accidentally shows. I never watched the video, but basically showing the title of the next Spider-Man movie, which it looks like to be Far From Home. So you can take that in a way or two. And I'm sure there has been a lot of speculation pieces as to what that's going to set up. I mean, you think of Far From Home. Technically, he was already far from home in Infinity War.
Right.
So, or this could be Spider-Verse thing. We don't know. We will find out. And of course, thank you.
What's next?
Jake Gyllenhaal is not confirmed as Mysterio in Spider-Man: Far From Home.
And we'll get some more on this later.
Yes, we will. I think actually, because I don't think I have anything else. Actually, there's these last two articles are spoiling the thing that we were talking about later, but that's fine. So yeah, so there was a rumor that Jake Gyllenhaal was going to be Mysterio as in the next Spider-Man movie. And
it might still happen. We'll see.
Yeah, exactly. It could very still happen, but we don't know. And apparently, a lot of the stuff is coming out of the fact that Ant-Man and Wasp is coming out next week. So that's why we're getting these bits of news. Speaking of.
Next up, Kevin Feige spoke about what connects the Avengers Infinity War survivors. So, story, we're dealing with spoilers for Infinity War. So, I got to say that even though most people have seen it already, we are spoiling some aspect of Infinity War. And Feige came out and said that there's a connection. You got to just kind of do the math and realize it's the original Avengers that are left.
Which we said when we talked about it. So it's not like anybody who's watched the movie and paid any minute of attention would know that, yeah, it was just the original. Well, the original Avengers plus Rhodey.
Right.
But still, it's just the original, which I had a problem with coming out of Infinity War. Not saying it's not a good movie, but that was the thing. So yeah, that's, I guess, Feige just wanted to confirm that for some odd reason. As if anybody who wasn't paying attention to that.
Next up, you got it.
Who weren't. Marvel's Eternals film could completely change MCU history. So yeah, they're trying to get an Eternals movie off the ground, and they darn sure have been kind of making references to them in a couple of books.
Mm-hmm. It's weird because why? You would think that, and this is why it's a shame. Honestly, this is why it's a shame that they rushed Inhumans. Because they could have done Inhumans after Captain Marvel, because they set up the Kree so much more.
Heck, they could have done Eternals first and then done Eternals, and probably would have made it a little bit better.
Humans.
No, I'm saying they could have done Eternals first and then come back and do Eternals to kind of give a little bit more heft.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. But no, I'm just talking about just in dealing with the Inhumans. Like, they waited long enough to set up Marvel Cosmic.
Well, and the problem also was they were trying to get, because at the time they didn't have mutants, so they wanted stand-ins for mutants
but that didn't exactly help them. You know what I mean?
No, it did not.
Alrighty. Our next story is Marvel Studios still wants to actually make a Power Pack movie because they want something for the children.
Yes,
Marvel's for the kids.
They did say something about it. So this is Feige again talking at the same press junket where a couple of these stories kind of for Ant-Man and Wasp can come out. So yeah, he's basically still said in this article, and I guess the next one too, that they're still interested in making a Power Pack movie because of the kids, because they were looking into doing something more family friendly. As it says here in quote unquote, Power Pack is a property that we've been interested in for a long time, Feige said, for many years, because we want to do something for families, something that's a little younger. Ant-Man has kind of become that franchise. Wow. Certainly with Ant-Man and the Wasp, but Power Pack is still one of the many things that we discuss. Wouldn't it be fun to do someday? So they're just putting that out there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Power Pack, that's a group. And also, I'm just going to take this in here. Also, yeah. Marvel Studios planting the seeds that could lead to young Avengers. This is also coming out the fact that Cassie, Scott Lang's daughter in Ant-Man and Wasp, they casted someone to be an older version of her, and that could be one of the seeds that brings forth the young Avengers, of which Cassie was a part of as Stature.
All right.
So Ant-Man and Wasp comes out next week, by the way, in case you didn't recognize that.
I was about to say, I don't know if we're going to be on movie protocols, because I know PCN_Dirt doesn't like to watch things opening night, and you get to the theater relatively early in the day. So,
right. I asked him before we started that I'm thinking about actually going to see it.
Yeah, I already have tickets for opening night, so I won't be able to get back in time.
Sure. So but stay tuned to our Twitters, and we will definitely let you know what happens.
Exactly.
Next up.
So our next story is Ant-Man and the Wasp. Lawrence Fishburne teases Goliath and Hank Pym's Rocky Pass. So this is part of what's in the trailers, and he's also describing Bill Foster, the character that he plays.
Let's hope that he actually doesn't get Bill Fostered in the course of this film.
Goodness,
because that would be terrible, and I would riot. Anyway, so yeah, apparently they have history, and there is some allusion to. I think Fishburne said there might be some allusion to, or at least this article was saying there was some allusion to him possibly have become Goliath at some point. But
okay,
we'll never say that. But it also says in this article that Bill Foster has a fatherly relationship to the villain Ghost, played by one Hannah John Kamen.
Ooh,
that doesn't it, and it may, according to this article, may or may not be similar to the one of Hope and Hank Pym in the movie. So we don't know if it's going to be actual daughter or just some sort of father relationship. Regardless, Hannah John Kamen is awesome and beautiful. If you haven't watched the show Joys, you should.
Okay. Next up.
Actually, speaking of Hannah John Kamen, Thunderbolts movie is something Ant-Man and the Wasp villain would like to see. That villain being Ghost, played by Hannah John Kamen, and I've said that a lot because I love her. Awesome, and she's gorgeous. Yes, I said it. But she basically said that she would be ready to participate in the Thunderbolts film, which that would be kind of interesting in the grander streams of the MCU. So if you didn't know, the Thunderbolts are the team of villains who are. It's basically like the Marvel's Suicide Squad.
Kinda. There's a definite change. There's a definite wrinkle in the comparison, but we'll save that for another night.
If you know basics, then that's
Next up, director Peyton Reed says John Hodgman is campaigning to play MODOK in the MCU.
So
only what is it? What does MODOK stand for again?
Something dedicated only for killing.
For killing, that's right.
Yeah, something. But so it's worth noticing that this is not new, because John Hodgman has been. In fact, I remember when looking this up, there was an article from 3 years ago, which I think we probably actually reported on, saying that he was lobbying to play MODOK like 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So Peyton Reed basically was just, and I think Peyton Reed may have said that in talking now, because he says not only have you mentioned MODOK, but I will occasionally get texts from John Hodgman. He has been long wanted to play MODOK. It's his mission in life. He's a huge Marvel Comics fan. John has been sort of lobbying for years. MODOK. We've always talked about MODOK because he's maybe the most bizarro character in the Marvel universe. I would dispute that, but yes, he is definitely kind of out there. So we'll never know if we're going to ever see MODOK on the big screen or not, but we know who definitely wants to play him. Next up, Fox accepts. I'm going to tie these next two together. Fox accepts Disney's new bid and major blow to Comcast. And guess what, folks? The U.S. government approves Disney Fox sale on one condition, and that condition being having nothing to do with Marvel, actually.
Right.
It's to do with the fact that Fox has a sports division and Disney already owns ESPN, so Fox would have to. I guess they would have to break off Fox Sports or sell it off.
Exactly. So this is not on.
Now you're breaking up. And you just
news totally expected because of the nature of sports programming in its current state. So this is not a huge hurdle in that, a lot of people anticipated this particular aspect of government approval, of antitrust approval. So let's hope that I know that some people think this is the lesser of two evils, and I'm inclined to agree. But let's hope that this goes through and we can get our MCU closer to being, a nice big happy family.
and maybe kill all that other Fox toxic stuff, because Fox Sports being the less toxic thing that Fox even deals with at this point. But that's a big tall answer. That being said, it's a thing. It's going to happen. We will continue looking into that. Obi-Wan. Ewan McGregor rumored.
Let's just call him Obi-Wan.
I know, right? He is
Train Spotting. He's been in 100 movies. We know him as Obi-Wan.
Yes, there is that. Ewan McGregor rumored to return as Obi-Wan in Star Wars Episode 9. I would assume Force Ghost, because he's long dead. So, or Obi-Wan has been long dead. So I can only imagine that would be the reason why that would be the case. Which kind of, I mean, well, they couldn't get the original. They couldn't get Scarlett Guinness. So, you know,
obviously.
If that's the case, that is my speculation. We don't know, you know. And this article, as far as I know, doesn't say. But excuse me, it says according to the Sun, McGregor was secretly filmed for the next Star Wars movie. Not so secret if you got it in an article that people can read. Just saying, if that is assuming true, but at this point, it's still rumor. But if he does, that makes sense if he comes back as the Force Ghost, because that's or unless they do a flashback, which that's something that I don't think they ever have done in a main Star Wars movie. In fact, I don't think they've done them in any of them. They either set in a certain time period or just whatever. So we'll see if that comes true.
Okay.
A handy guide to all of the Star Wars projects that are potentially in the works right now. So our friendly folks at IO9 has a nice little guide to everything that's coming out soon, that including Episode 9, Rian Johnson's trilogy coming up. I believe that's Boba Fett movie and a couple other things, maybe a HBO limited series, yada yada yada. There's stuff Star Wars coming out. Folks.
Yeah, but you know, there's always a question as to when stuff is actually going to be followed through on. So we'll see.
I believe there's also there it is, Star Wars Resistance, which is the Dave Filoni of the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels fame, has a new animated series I can fairly say that was probably going to happen.
Okay.
Because it's Dave Filoni and he hasn't done wrong by that. He and his crew hasn't done wrong by the animated stuff on that side at all. If you haven't seen Clone Wars and Rebels, you should if you're a Star Wars fan.
All right.
Next up,
Kelsey Grammer, tossed salad and scrambled eggs, is in talks for Doom Patrol's The Chief.
Wrong one. There we go.
I was about to say, I'm like, I don't get it, because it's Frasier.
That was the wrong one. Yeah. So here's the funny part about it. As this article says, Kelsey Grammer is in talks to portray the Dr. Niles, the Chief Calder, the live action Doom Patrol television series on the DC Universe streaming service. Now, obviously, if you are a fan of Frasier, you will know that his brother, played by David Hyde Pierce, I believe his name, was named Niles in the show.
Right.
It's just personally funny because I love Frasier.
All irony, yep.
So yeah, so that's a rumor. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, sure, get that money, Kelsey. I guess I don't know. I don't even know why I would even say that right now. People are going to do that regardless.
All right.
One thing, James Wan, Buffy vet. That's a poorly worded sentence. James Wan, Buffy vet, reportedly helming DC Universe pilot. So Swamp Thing is coming out on the DC Universe streaming service. Is that actually the name of it? Because I don't remember what the heck that is. That's a mouthful. Regardless, James Wan is going to be doing the pilot along with, so he's going to be executive producer, and it sounds like he'll co-direct alongside of Darren Serafian. Apologize to you for that. Butcher's names. So if you know that name, he has done a bunch of television projects, including Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Alrighty.
Also House and Hemlock Grove, none of which outside of Buffy I've ever watched.
All right.
There's fall in North Carolina and yada yada yada, but that show's coming.
Okay. So Warner Brothers TV's Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, Black Lightning, Krypton, Legends of Tomorrow, Riverdale, San Diego Comic-Con panel details have been released.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is a bunch of panels, or I guess this is one big panel. It sounds like no, it's a bunch of panels.
Oh, it's a bunch of panels. Okay.
Yeah, panels that are going to be at San Diego Comic-Con coming next month.
Very soon.
Yes.
Alrighty.
I would love to go for that Black Lightning one, and actually, there's a couple of them I probably would want to go to. That'd be interesting. Oh, I still haven't seen the Ray yet. Anyway, speaking of Black Lightning season 2 will introduce an Outsiders character. So I guess there's going to be a villain that's going to, well, it's going to be a character, not necessarily a villain. They just said a character from Batman and the Outsiders. The sociopathic scientist named Dr. Jace, which sounds like a Dragon Ball character, appears to be Dr. Helga Jace. I don't know that much about Batman and the Outsiders. Maybe you can enlighten me if you know about it. Regardless, it kind of doesn't matter, but it's apparently someone who was in the Batman and the Outsiders book from back in
Got me.
Yeah, like I said, I wasn't really reading that book or much DC at that time.
Unless Dr. Jace is related to, some of the characters who had powers that weren't, that maybe were granted via technology, but I'm reaching there right now. So
it says, according to this article, she first appeared as an ally to the Outsiders, but then later revealed to be a villain working for the Manhunters.
Okay.
So what role she'll have in Black Lightning, we will see when that happens.
All right. Next up, Maisie Richardson Sellers confirms her return to Legends of Tomorrow season 4. So this is the actress who was playing Vixen.
That's correct.
And she says that fans will find out more in the show's San Diego Comic-Con panel as to what's going to happen to the character. And things will be weirder and more wonderful than ever.
That show's already weird, so that's good. Like, I have enjoyed, I'm not caught up with it, but I've enjoyed Legends because it's just weird. Fun. But that's cool. Glad to see she's still be on there. Because they have gotten rid of the Vixen, actresses. In one, or I should say, not get rid of it, because the first one had other priors and couldn't come back. So, anyway, Jeremy Irons to star in Damon Lindelof's Watchmen TV series. So, going from Alfred to another British gentleman.
Well, which character though? That's the thing. We don't know which character.
It does. I think it does say.
What does it say?
Deadline says the acclaimed actor will likely be playing an aging and imperious lord of the British manor, of a British manor. I don't know much about.
How is that related to Watchmen? So yeah, that's.
Well, yeah, according to it says, if you're scratching your head to figure out which character from the comic this might be, don't bother. With each new piece of info I grow more and more convinced. Oh, sounds like, well, according to this article, or this writer's article, it might be an original character. So we don't know. You're muted.
You know what I have to say to that?
That.
Here it is.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, because it also says here in this article, Lindelof said in the past he has no desire to adapt the 12-issue series. I guess he's kind of, as they tend to want to do, kind of go their own way with it.
Yeah, just in case you guys didn't hear out in podcast land or in or in YouTube land, that was Jeremy Irons playing Scar from The Lion King. Oh, goody. One of my favorite lines from the movie.
It's funny that you had that queued up, or got to it that fast, I should say. That's pretty good. Next up, wait, is this you or me?
This is me, Rebel Wilson. God, to star in produced comic book adaptation of Crowded. She's like the least funny part of any of the Pitch Perfect movies. I haven't even gotten to the most recent one because I just
you even watched the Pitch Perfect movies.
I blame William Bruce West. Shout out to William Bruce West for saying that the first one was good, and I actually sat down and watched it on cable.
I think I've seen a piece of it, but I've never sat and watched a whole one. So I don't know. I kind of like her. I don't know.
It's not funny.
The bits I've seen of her, I don't know. In bigger doses, who knows? I don't get into all of that because people have different tastes. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, so she's on the comic book adaptation train. This is Chris Sabella's book. It's set in the near future where the world's economy is all job sharing and apps, and where crowdfunding platforms that funds assassinations named Reaper is all the rage. So the story is set in motion when a woman named Charlie, leading a quiet life, finds her world upside down when she suddenly becomes a target on Reaper, and things happen after that. So,
Okay.
Sure. Get that money, Isabella. Rumor, Sir Patrick Stewart, close to signing deal to return to Star Trek. So in the wake of the other announcements that we got from last week about the Star Trek stuff that is happening, guess what? Star Trek is not ending anytime soon. According to Hollywood Reporter, Sir Patrick may be returning to play Jean-Luc Picard. Wait, this possible TNG era project could be one of the potential limited series that Variety reported last week. So they're saying, but they're also saying that Sir Pat may have been interested in getting on board that Quentin Tarantino Star Trek movie that he's been trying to get off the ground, or at least he's sparked some interest in it anyway. Which I still don't know how I feel about a Quentin Tarantino Star Trek movie. I'm sorry, I don't know. Have been crazy about Tarantino stuff in a minute, but hey, it could be good. We'll see if that even comes to ground. Next up, sir. Muted.
Make it so. Make it so. Make it so. Make it so.
That's what I was trying to get to.
I got you. Nice. Pretty good.
Make it so. I gotta make that. That's going on my list of new sound effects.
Sure.
Make it so.
All right.
Next up, Jared Leto. This is what we were teasing earlier. Jared Leto is set to star as a Spider-Man villain, Morbius, the living vampire, in the Sony Solo movie. And I love Roddy Cat's note on this. Did they not see Suicide Squad? I'll leave it at that. That's perfect.
Yeah, I'll add something to it.
Hey, boo!
It works for me.
So yeah, now I say this as having just watched Blade Runner 2049. He wasn't terrible in it, but he was also not in it that long. So, good God, man, come on, that Suicide Squad's Joker was terrible. I didn't like it. Some people did. I don't know. It's moving right along. Valiant got me all flustered now. Faith getting a solo movie.
Okay.
According to Deadline. So you know what? Good for that character. Good for Valiant. Sony's also producing a film based on Bloodshot, which we already knew. So there's no release date for Faith, but cool. So if you don't know about the character of Faith, Faith is named Faith Herbert. She's a telekinetic superhero known for her jovial attitude. I have not read much Valiant stuff, much less that, but yeah, sure.
Okay.
Go represent.
Alrighty. So,
Rebel Wilson.
Oh goodness. Anyway, on to the comic book news. First up, Bolivar and Heavy Vinyl creators earn Russ Manning nominations. So, Boom Studios is proud to announce it's gotten 2 nominations in the 2018 Russ Manning Promising Newcomer Awards for Sean Rubin, writer-artist of Bolivar from the Archaea imprint, and Nina Vacueva, artist of Heavy Vinyl from the Boombox imprint. Congrats to them.
Congrats indeed. See, next up. Oh, good. DC launches 100-page Giants as Walmart exclusives. And actually, I think the next maybe 1 or 2. Yeah, well, at least the next one is
related.
So yeah, so you're gonna get a big 100-page giant comic that's gonna be Walmart exclusive. Only I think the Dan DiDio may have shown a picture of what the display is going to look like. That has been going around the Twitters, and what we're going to get out of these display is a Batman, Batman stuff, Superman stuff, Teen Titan stuff, Justice League stuff. Looks like. Oh, and all of those are gonna have like little short stories from their various universes they're in. So it sounds like there's gonna be original stories from Jimmy Palmiotti, Amanda Connor, Dan Jurgens, Tim Seeley. I think Bendis is actually doing one of those. Yes, what? Okay, and it's going to be available July.
Okay.
Starting July 1st with Bendis's looks like 12-part Superman story by Tom King and a 12-part Batman story by Bendis following in September.
Alrighty.
So yeah, look forward to that in the local Walmarts if you care. And they're going to be $4.99, which that's weird because there are books that they're selling that with lesser pages for that exact price.
Right. Well, it is Walmart. They got to cater to the Walmart crowd. So, no offense to the Walmart crowd. That is the price point though that they're looking for.
I mean, for 100 pages for $5, cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining about that.
Maybe it's going to be on newsprint.
We could actually, I don't know if it even says here or not, but yeah, it is an anthology, and it's
or it could be on like that super thin, shiny paper.
Probably. Regardless, so go check that out if you're interested. So it could be something cool out of it.
Batman may be returning to his classic look and trunks, aka underwear on the outside.
Yes, not to be confused with trunks from DBZ.
Yeah, right. Okay. So
from September solicits for Batman 55, and it shows Batman in a more classic look, which there's been a couple of different classic looks that he's been, because he's going back to the gray at one point recently. Like in Trinity had the kind of a version of the gray suit. So,
yeah,
but this is the more, I guess, the quote unquote, the more classic one.
Right. You got next.
I got next, like in basketball. Justice League Dark Rider promises Dr. Fate, Blue Devil, and scary new villain. So this is James Tinian IV, who took part in a part of our AMA on Reddit and was talking about Justice League Dark, which I could have sworn was out already, but I guess hasn't come out yet. And I guess he's talking about Dr. Fate's going to show up in issue number 2. Blue Devil has a role in a future story arc, etc., etc., etc.
Okay. Next up, I think we talked about this last week. Marv Wolfman explained Cyborg's cancellation, return, and recancellation.
We talked about the fact that it happened, but and a couple of days later, we got this, which was his explanation as to, actually, it might have been the next day, as to why it got canceled. The TLDR is that apparently no one knew he was writing it, and it seems like the book wasn't getting pushed. That was partially my take.
Yep.
And because he says most fans had already given up on it and didn't even know who was writing. It was his direct quote. So, but yeah, it sounds like it wasn't really getting pushed out of the way. And realistically, yeah, people, I can like, as one of the few people who was actually still reading that book, like, it was weird to see that, like, from when it started and then writers changed, but it was keep going, and people were hyping it up in the beginning because of the writer, and when the writer changed, and people stopped hyping it up, even though the writer also was a person of color, which is why they were hyping it up in the first place. And then that ended, and Wolfman came on the book, and in between that, they had stopped the book for a minute and came back, and Wolfman started writing it, and they just decided to kill it. And the last couple of issues that he had written, which is 24 and 25, which he had already written, are not going to be coming out.
Right.
That's kind of sad. And he also mentioned that he's writing Raven, which is, I think, is a 12-issue miniseries. Marv Wolfman, creator of the Teen Titans, still out there doing his thing with Teen Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, not Cyborg, which, because of Justice League, should be a little bit more prominent. But, well, I guess he is. He's on Justice League, so
you can fold the next two together.
Yep. Toy Corner. Even more weird and wonderful Comic-Con exclusives and the rest of the best of the toys. So yeah, we got to look at some of the exclusive stuff that is going to be coming during a show sold during San Diego Comic-Con. That includes some Lego sets from Star Wars and DC
Voltron
stuff. So what?
And Voltron.
Yes, and Voltron. There's a Incredibles board game. There's not a meat thing. There's Aquaman, and this Action Comics one though is kind of neat. There's Mattel Action Comics one. If you see it, Yeah, that one's kind of neat. And of course, we talked about. I think we talked about this last week. The Swedish Chef one, and of course, the Voltron one, which you guys don't see here, but we talked about in a side panel in a side chat. Shout out to Matt Wang, who's just joining us. You missed the books we were talking about. You missed all our technical difficulties.
Yeah. Listen, you didn't miss much in that regard.
That was fun. Not really, but it was still fun. So now we're on the news. In fact, we're kind of nearing the end of the show, but thank you for joining us regardless, sir. We're still talking about
good stuff coming, because the next bit of news is about Toys R Us finally maybe getting fresh batteries. So the former CEO is reportedly eyeing a reboot for the shuttered retail giant. Today is the last day of Toys R Us being open, but it looks like the former CEO is trying to organize a way to reboot the franchise.
Right. I was going to say I was going to go back to the toy thing because that next story kind of had the Thanos copter.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that. I thought we were just going to combine the two. Holy cow, the Thanos copter.
So that's going to be an exclusive at San Diego, and then there's some Pokemon stuff and the Shira thing. So yeah, so there's some. Oh yeah, the Porg. I thought we talked about that one last week though. Yeah, we did talk about the Porg and the Millennium Falcon, and then there's that again. Some of the stuff that we've already talked about, but the Thanos copter one was the one I wanted to get to because that's kind of weird and funny. And if you're watching the video, you can see that it's encased in a Cosmic Cube type casing.
Yeah, that is some quirky stuff right there.
And muscles, so muscles got to come back. So yeah, but the Toys R Us thing, if that happens, I can't imagine what they would do.
Well, we just have to wait and see in that regard. We have to, because that kind of financing is on a pretty big scale.
They could do like a big Toy Stories type situation and just be online only or sell through Amazon. But I think they did a deal where they were kind of sort of selling through Amazon anyway.
I was going to say, there's a lot of retail real estate out there. They may not want to take over their old locations, but there's plenty of malls that could use, or strip malls. Forget malls because KB wants to go into malls.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to mention that. Yeah, KB trying to shoot their shot, which is sad. But hey.
Before we leave tonight, and one of the reasons why I'm trying to hurry along through the news is that I did get a small haul of toys on my last trips to Toys R Us this past weekend. So I didn't intend to go this week. So I did actually come out with some stuff. So before we wrap, I'm going to go through those real quick.
Not a problem. We only got a few more stories. And that being, GameStop explains the how and why it's going to start selling comics. TLDR, money.
There you go.
But yeah, this was an interview with IO9 and I guess somebody from GameStop saying there's the wins and the hows and the why they're going to start selling comic books. So you can go check that out if you please.
All right. Next up, Marvel teases Dan Slott's Iron Man will go from microscopic to 70 stories high. All righty.
Yep. So, and I didn't actually read this article. I'm assuming he got hold of some pimp articles or something. Yep. Kind of. Yeah. Basically. So, okay, cool. Marvel's Infinity Wars comics are creating some mighty mashups. We kind of talked about this last week,
right?
But I guess we now know that is indeed coming out of Infinity Wars, which I guess makes sense,
right?
As opposed to the speculation of having something to do with whatever else.
Something else, right?
Yeah,
right. Because I think when it was initially introduced, we thought it might not have to do with Infinity Wars. It might be something independent. But now it seems that it is, it's confirmed that it is related and coming straight out of the events of Infinity Wars.
Sure. God help us all. Marvel reintroduces the Sentry's family sidekicks to continuity. Oh, I hate screwing up words like that. But we kind of already talked about this in the
review.
But or in the beginning of the show. So yeah, the Sentry's a thing. It's a back out and.
All right. So next up, the full Weapon X-Force lineup has been revealed with Sabretooth in the lead. That I guess this is related to events in the book where Old Man Logan has taken a back seat are starting to recede from view as regular Wolverine is set to return. So it's a bunch of killers minus Thunderbird.
Right. Which, I mean, that's kind of what the Weapon X book has been. Well, that between that and X-Force,
right,
it has been that. But wait, is that Omega Red?
Yes, it is Omega Red. He's one of the big additions.
Weird. That's weird.
It's different.
Yeah. So yeah, Weapon X, go. It's out there. Greg Pak. Holla.
It's definitely something different.
Yeah, really. Next up, queer romance hit Bingo Love to return with 2 new releases. So one Miss T. Franklin's comic book smash will return in November with an expanded edition ahead of a second volume in February 2020. Let's see. There will be Bingo Love Volume 1 Jackpot Edition, which will represent the original release by Franklin and Jen St. Ange, along with 50 pages of additional material from Marguerite Bennett, Beverly Johnson, Sean Pryor, Paulina Ganacho, Gail Simone, and Ariel Christina.
Okay.
Yeah. Sarah Alfaghi. Apologize for if I've screwed up any of the names. I hate doing that. And also going to be Volume 2, which is going to be 136-page collection, and also features an afterword by novelist and comic writer Gabby Rivera. Shout out to America, which she wrote. Along with I'm sorry, that is still the Volume 1 that's going to be in, and then the Volume 2 is going to be Dear Diary, which is in 2020. So cool beans. Shout out to T. Franklin. Do your thing, girl. Last but not least, the first look at Boom Studios' Clueless One Last Summer graphic novel. If you think this is based on the movie with Alicia Silverstone, you are damn right it is. As
if. So it's a follow-up to the 2017 smash hit Clueless Senior Year that arrives in. So we know it's a smash hit apparently because this is gonna arrive in November 2018.
Oops. Yeah. Written by Sarah Kuhn and Amber Benson. Yeah. I did not know this was a thing, but again, to make sense, now that I think about it, Charlie's Angels came out this week. And nobody at my shop had bought it, but I was kind of going to look into it just to see what in the hell that was about. But it's Charlie's Angels, so that's the thing. So yeah, all you Clueless fans, and we know that a lot of you are out there. We kind of know some. I dare say shout out to Eclectic on that one.
Haha.
That's the thing. Go check it out when it's ready. So yeah, we are now finished the
Yeah, we are now wrapping the news, and before I read our last ad of the night, I wanted to get into some of the stuff I picked up in my last trips to Toys R Us before the official closing of this iteration of Toys R Us. So, as you guys know, anyone who follows the show or follows myself on Instagram at @agent_70 on Instagram, I picked up the sound effects classic Voltron. I picked up all 5 lines between 2 Toys R Us's as things are going on sale at the not so steep discounts. But now, in the last days of the store, and the discounts being up to 60%, I was actually still able to pick up a couple of decent things. First up, I picked up some Marvel Legends, believe it or not. And it's funny what's still left on the pegs. I picked up a Misty Knight.
Nice. I think I have that one already.
And I picked up a Wasp from the first Ant-Man line. Didn't get this because I wasn't in the mood to build the Age of Ultron.
Yeah. I actually saw that in my comic book store, and I think my guy had gotten a couple of those. I almost grabbed one.
Yep, picked up Dark Knight Returns Robin, Carrie Kelly. So that's pretty cool. And last but definitely not least, I had put off buying him when it first came out. Plush Lockjaw, baby. A plush Lockjaw. 60% off.
Did you see the Funko one, or did they not have any?
I already had one.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
I already had one. Haha. So I got the plush Lockjaw. Not sure if this is going to my niece or not, if I'm just going to hold on to it, but we shall see.
I mean, you know that's going to your niece at some point. Come on. Regardless of whether you kept it for yourself or not.
Right. So that is a nice little haul for the waning days of Toys R Us.
Nice. I didn't go by there. I know, like, you see the big fat going out of business sign that's on there every time I go past it, and that's been almost every other day. So wait, so there's closing this week?
Today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's like the end of June, so.
Mm-hmm. So
I don't think they were going to make it to the 30th. I think it was going to be tomorrow as the last day.
Mm.
You should take a look, maybe give them a call or something.
Yeah, or see what's going on online also, because pretty sure you can snap some stuff up there. But regardless of that, yeah, so long to Jeffrey and the Toys R Us crew. No more toy runs, no more potential toy runs.
Don't like the fact that I saw articles that said it seems like all the Toys R Us kids have grown up. So, that can't be right.
I don't want to grow up. Oh, my Toys R Us kid.
Seriously. Yeah. So, all right, our last ad of the night as we wrap the show is for Funko. Fun at first sight. Your home for exclusive collectibles such as their world-famous pop vinyl bobbleheads, apparel, t-shirts, hats, and socks, and brand merchandise, custom DIY pop figures, art books, and skateboards. And now, the listeners of the KLIQ Nation's Comic Book Chronicles can enjoy 10% off your entire purchase when shopping at Funko. To place your first order with 10% off and to help keep our show free for you, go to our network website at cspn.us. That's cspn.us. Then click on the Keep Our Podcasts free link at the top of the page. From there, scroll down to the Funko link and place your order. When you get to the checkout, put in the offer code SHOP10 for your 10% off discount. That's SHOP10 for your 10% off discount. Funko through cspn.us. Do it today.
I think we're doing it at the same time. And with that, folks, we come to the end of another fine programming. Want to thank PC_Dirt for coming in when he could for the first part of the show. That is PC_Dirt on Twitter, Pop Culture Net on Twitter, popculturenetwork.com, ineedcomics.com. He's out on the internet, folks. Go check him out. Tim DOGG98 on Twitter, our founder and friend who is still on this Timbatical. CB Cron on Twitter. The KLIQ Nation, that's the KLIQ_NATION on Twitter. Go check him out on CBR, doing this thing over there, working hard for the money. Agent_70 on Twitter and also on Instagram. Anything else you want to? I don't know. Well, we'll talk about that afterwards. And also me, your host for this affair, Roddy Cat on Twitter, News Nerds Need on Twitter, News Nerds Need Reddit. You can go check that out. Lots of good stuff over there. If you don't see it on Twitter, it's probably gonna be there. CB Cap's Instagram page, which I definitely am getting to some of that stuff, and I just been some things happening. But you can find this very podcast on Apple Podcasts and Google Play. You can also find us on SoundCloud. You can also find us on the cspn.us with those fine folks and their other podcasts that you should go check out. Some good stuff over there. Shop.cspn.us. Go get some merch from this show and other shows on CSPN. And we will see you on Twitter too, because I just thought about it. Like as we said earlier, we may be going into the movie protocol next week, but we will definitely let you know, so you can go check us out on our individual Twitters, and we will let you know if we are going to have a show or not, or what stands in that case. And with that, folks, this is the Comic Book Chronicles, and you have a great night.
Okay, lady, I love you. Bye-bye.
Good evening, Would you believe it's Dr.